Yes.
Yeah, we are
Hi.
live. Hi, world. So nice to see you all here today. 2 weeks have passed super quickly. We are back again with our social media posts from previous weeks. My team and I, we create a lot of content on a weekly basis, and some of the stories behind the posts that we write are still um, some that we haven't told about you yet because it's so hard to put things in a small post. I think you might have noticed Erzin's posts are always super long because there is a huge story behind each and every post. So this is the reason why we want to use these live events in order for you to give some more behind the scenes insights about our life as recruitment consultants in this world. So yeah, hi team. Welcome.
Hi, guys.
Our live this week. How's everyone doing?
Oh, better than the beginning of the week, definitely. I don't know how about you guys, everyone who's joined us, but this has been a challenging health-wise time for everyone. Everyone around me is somehow getting sick or been sick, so please take care
Yes.
of your health. We are very mindful of everything here. How are you guys?
That's true.
I'm doing great. I have a sunny
Nice.
place. I'm at a
Yeah.
sunny place, but I'm not sure if we are live on LinkedIn because LinkedIn is a bit slower. We are live on Twitter, on YouTube. So far,
I
what
just
I
see.
can see.
Good question. I will just have a quick look as well. Into all right. I think LinkedIn is hanging behind a little. Can that be true?
Yeah, we are always on sync one, so about 10, 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm. That could be. Nevertheless, disclaimer. Erzin's background is real. It's not a photo.
Yeah.
We are in Turkey. Turkey. We're spending some time here right now, and yeah, Maya was telling about the snow that she has in Latvia. So that was a crazy comparison today. Sun
Not
and
jealous
then
at all.
yeah, some snow. Erzin, how's LinkedIn Live doing? Is it working? Do you think we should start or?
We can start. If not on LinkedIn, we are on YouTube. So
Yes, we
that's not
definitely
the
are.
problem.
Yes. Definitely. So today we're going to look back at the topic of previous week. The first one is changing jobs, and the other one is like recruiting new not clients, candidates. So Maya and I, both of us, are going to share one post from that week, the one that got most likes, most comments, most reposts, and we'll give you a bit more behind the scenes, how so and why we have chosen this post. So yeah, let's dive in.
Yeah.
Let's
Great
start
post
with
of
my
Maya.
most successful post to date. A small congratulations to me. I was not expecting this to go as wide and well as it did, but obviously there are some things, some posts that really speak with people, and this was one of them. I was very surprised about the big response it got. It got over 9,000 impressions, which for my post is well
wow.
over the average. I was very proud of that. It was shared about 4 times, so I guess that made a lot of difference for it. But
Go,
yeah, I
Maya.
mean,
So cool. I'm so happy for
I
you.
did
Your
enjoy
first
it.
viral
Thank you.
post, right?
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. This is, I mean, there have been posts that have been also successful as well, but this one was way well over the average achievement that I usually get. But I do understand why. This is something that is like you, as you see from the first sentence of the post, is it okay to change job within 3 months? It's something that we all have dealt with. I mean, of course, there are the lucky few that start working in their jobs. They are happy, successful, they stay there for a long time. But most of us, at least once in their life, have begun a job or a position where we understood quite quickly that it's not for us. So,
Oh, yeah.
and then there comes like the big question. So, for example, we do see a lot of CVs, a lot of resumes. We also always take a look on the length of the time that the person has spent in a company. And if it's, for example, if it's like 4 or 5 companies in a row where a person has been only for a few months or less than 5 months, of course it does raise some questions like, why are you changing jobs so frequently? But it doesn't change the question of, is it okay to do it at least once in your life, at least twice, or why, or what are the reasons for it? So this is, I think, the reason why it got so it was so popular. It got so much attention and reviews. And I really like the comment section as well here. Many people spoke about mental health, which is a big, big, important reason for you wanting to quit your job sooner than 3 months. Because let's be honest, if you are not happy with your job or position or your tasks, there's only so much energy you can like give into it and like hold out for as long as you can. So yeah, I mean, first of all, I would love to know how it is with you guys. Have you ever quit your job sooner than 3 months?
I have.
You have. Why?
It was one of the reasons actually that you mentioned was the mental reason behind it. First of all, mental for me at that time, it meant I was putting so much energy into that work, and the way how it was organized, it was just not for me, because it was a weird structure. I was kind of not allowed to have my lunch break alone because the team was always having lunch breaks together, and they expected that everyone would spend the lunchtime together. Where I thought,
Wow,
like,
weird.
hey, like, yeah, I don't know, I want to go and have alone time, you know, because it's already a lot. Yeah, or I don't know, go and do some shopping over lunch break. So that was one thing. And the other one was the fact that it was expected that I work at least until 7 o'clock in the evening. And I mean, if you start at 8 and have a lunch break with the team and then have to work so long, like after a month, I was so done. Like I just couldn't do it. And yeah, it was just not feeling right. It was just not feeling right. The role that I was having, it was in recruitment. I was actually doing recruitment, but at that place but in those circumstances, it was not fine. And yeah, I left the role after 1 month. And yeah, no one's going to see it on my CV. In case someone is questioning, should I put it on my CV or should I not? I mean, it's experience that I earned a lot about myself, for myself and about myself. But it's not something that someone will find in my CV, for example. So yeah, and I think it's normal, and I think you should do it because work needs to be fun. And if it's not fun, and if it doesn't fit your lifestyle or the way how you see work to be integrated in your life, you shouldn't work there.
Yeah, definitely agree. I also have had one position where I left, I think it was also about a month. It was something in production. I had just moved to Germany, and the team was so unwelcoming, like with a big U and a big G. It was very, very bad. I mean, every morning, and I'm a very friendly person, I would say. And
you are.
I more often than not, I do. I mean, I fit into teams quite well, I would say. But this was just such an experience that I would never wish upon anyone. And as far as I heard, there were 2 types of people who really work there, either those who have been working there for their whole lives, so 15 plus years, or the newcomers like me who really did change like every month or 2. So I understood it's not me. It really is something in their team or in their structure, how they do things. But I was not the only one who came and gone in a month of time. So yeah. Ersin,
Good.
how it is with you? Oh, sorry,
Mhm.
sorry, Lena.
No, go on. I'll ask later.
I have never quit within the first 3 months. But I can imagine that that could be. I think you can learn a lot in the first 3 months, so why to stay longer? But I would prefer or suggest to give the company at least 6 months. So, but you have to speak up with your
Yeah,
manager and say
definitely.
what's not going, what's isn't right. But yeah, you can do that. Sorry, I was a bit confused. So we are not live
No, no.
on LinkedIn. There, LinkedIn has
Okay.
some issues. I did a post that we are live on YouTube,
Okay.
Twitter, so you can find us there.
That's great.
Well, things happen, it's life. But we did
Yeah.
made a great statistics, right? Like 2 out of 3 people have left their job in the first 3 months.
Yeah, interesting. I wanted to go in a bit more detail about the point that you made, Maya, that people who were like in the role or were older generation stayed in that role for longer, and the younger generation kind of left after realizing it's not for them. Do you think it's like also a
Generational
thing, like a general like thing that people who have more experience, they tend to maybe be more reserved about making a step, maybe in a wrong direction, maybe in a right direction, but after such a short period of time? What do you think?
I definitely, I would say yes. My grandmother is like that. Like, for example, like she's 81 now. Obviously, she's not working anymore. But when she was working for almost her whole life in one place. And I think that's quite normal for older generation to stay loyal, even to the fault, to their employer. And like, yeah, push through anything or any obstacle there may be. There are definitely some pros and cons to this, because like younger generation, we are a lot more like, if something isn't happening as we imagine it, we will quit. We will change our jobs, we will look for other possibilities. And of course, I will never forget to mention that the times are definitely different. Like 40 years ago, there were only so many places where you could work. So there weren't like, I don't know, 50, 60 companies in your city where, or maybe hundreds, where you could choose to apply to. There were different times. So I think that kind of mentality, there are many different reasons why it is like it is, but it definitely is a generational thing. Our generation is just different for these kinds of reasons. We are not afraid. Many of us are not afraid to switch up and leave if something isn't agreeable to us. Yeah, that's
true.
my
Is it
opinion.
still like that? I don't know. After hearing all the layoffs from the big companies.
Oh, true.
It could be a little change in that.
Yeah, there
I
are
can quit a
phases,
job. I can
definitely.
find a
Yeah.
new one. It's not a problem. So
Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah, that's true. There are definitely phases like layoff season, so to say. Like this is definitely a layoff season for many companies. So at this moment, the mentality could be like shifted. Definitely, I agree. But yeah. So coming back to the question, like, is it okay to switch or change your jobs within the 3 months? I would definitely have some suggestions here. Or reasonings for this. So when it comes down to this, is it okay to leave your job within the first 3 months? I would say definitely yes. There are definitely reasons to do so. For example, bad management, bad communication. Your tasks, for example, were misrepresented during the interview process, which happens quite a lot. And poorly constructed onboarding process is definitely a big reason for it. Or like in my case, an unwelcoming team. Definitely, I would always suggest to speak up if there is something that you feel like you cannot hold it in you any longer, or you feel like this could be the reason why I leave my job, that there's really nothing you can lose. Go and speak to your manager, go and speak with the management, try to do something about it. Of course, if nothing changes and you really feel like your mental health is at risk here, or you just really cannot hold out any longer, then yes, quitting is definitely an option that you can and should use. That would be my advice.
Yes. And quitting can be cool if you stand up for yourself. If you put yourself in the first place, because I mean, that's what it should be like. We are in the first place for ourselves. So quitting is cool if you need to do that and you have a good reason behind it.
Definitely. I agree. Yeah. Other than that, I hope you guys are happy in your jobs.
Yes. I am.
Definitely, yeah.
Me too. Not quitting anytime soon.
The 3 months, how do you say, period is over now.
Exactly.
But yeah.
So,
all right.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's get heading to the next post. I will continue then on the topic of changing jobs. This post was very good. Not as good as Maya's post though, so I'm very proud of you, girl.
Don't say that.
This time 3,600 impressions, 31 raised quite a discussion, like 16 comments. I'll tell you a bit more about it in detail. And it was reposted one time. But the post was about becoming or being a manager and not wanting to continue the career in a manager level. And I'm quite sure if the person is watching us today, they will know who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to call out their names. But this post came to a live post based on a conversation I had with a friend of mine. They're currently in a manager phase or in a manager stage in their career, but they have realized that it's not the path that they want to continue with. It's just not for them. They have got some insights about it, what it would be like, but it's a lot to carry. And they were quite honest with me saying that, Lena, it's not something I want to do. It's just too much work-life balance. And my family is in the first place for me. But now I'm in a phase of applying for new jobs. And of course, I don't know how to put it in a nice way out there to the world that I don't want to be a manager anymore. So that's why I wrote a post here, giving a bit more insights what I think is a good way how to go about it in an application process to not sound unmotivated. But before I go into details, I'd like that people start a discussion. And a former colleague of mine, who is currently a managing director, she said that she loves to be a manager and she loves to support people grow and show them direction. And in best case, at the end of the day, they will become better in their job and do the job better than she is doing and maybe become a superior of hers or maybe replace her. And she says that that would be the best thing and she would love that. But she agrees, however, that it's not for everybody because, in terms of character and skills, and a lot of times people underestimate how much also administrative work is involved in this job. And I think, Ersin, you probably could agree here. It's a lot of things at the background that need to happen, right? So that the team and organization can function, you know? So, she says it's important to offer the perspective to everyone to become a manager if they want to. But even if they wouldn't want to, there needs to be some kind of an alternative within the company so that the people don't leave the employer, but stay and can still use their full potential. I mean, looking back at our previous experience in recruitment, I do recall at the company where we all met, I believe there was a time where they introduced this new structure because after reaching some title, the next step was a manager, but not everyone wanted to go down that path. So they kind of offered an alternative path, giving you kind of the same amount of money if you would get if you were a manager, but the duties would not be into like disciplinary managing of people. And I think this is very important. And the question that was raised as well, if the internal career structures are actually designed with this in mind, that not everyone would want to become a manager, right? So it's very interesting. One of the comments was also that Elisma, she sharing the same opinion that I do actually on this situation. She doesn't want to become a manager. And she says, due to the reason that I have always been so lucky with the managers, true leadership role models that she was having, and they were setting a quite high bar for what it's like to be a good manager. And I kind of like that because I have the same feeling. The previous managers that I have had have all been like leaders, I would say true leaders in that way. And yeah, I would like to be one, but I think it's a skill you can develop, but I'm not there yet. So maybe that's why I don't see being a manager myself. But yeah, it's an interesting perspective to share. And someone said it depends on the lifetime, on the point where you are standing in the life and what's your priority. There are moments where someone goes for family and health instead of going for the title and career. So it's really very different. Yeah. How do you see it, guys? Eager to become managers? How does it feel to be a manager, a leader? Yeah. What's your take?
Well, I haven't been a manager yet. I have no idea how it is. I have no idea what responsibilities it entitles, but I have had managers before. And I do know that it's a very responsible role. So, for example, here I am more or less responsible for my tasks. Of course, they somehow do tie up together with my colleagues as well, but still, I'm more or less responsible for myself. As a manager, especially if you do manage people, it's a complete different league. So if you are bad at what you do, you influence not only yourself but many other people, and it can be either great, you can be a wonderful influence, you can make their everyday life wonderful in the company, or quite the opposite. You can make some people quit their jobs if you're a bad manager. So I can imagine that the responsibility and maybe also the pressure of your doing your tasks well can be quite huge, and it's not for everyone. And definitely I agree to the comment who said that maybe, for example, the right time in your life could play a role in this. For example, like now I maybe don't feel ready, but after like 5 years I will wake up and think, maybe that could be my next thing that I could do. I could be a manager. So yeah,
that's true. I think you can grow into those tasks, or if you want to become a manager, like the skills, the leadership skills you can acquire. That's for sure. And I think we all know this famous quote that employees don't leave the companies, they leave the bad managers, right?
Yeah.
So I think it kind of goes hand in hand. Yeah.
But that's not always right. Sometimes it's time for a change. Of course, you will leave the company faster if the manager is not the kind of manager you how do you say you want,
expect or want.
But yeah, I don't know. Managing people it's not always fun. Let's put it that way.
It's
I think it's
rainbows
easier to be a consultant, so you can only do your thing and concentrate on, I don't know, your work. Managing people is always, it's more like, how do you call it, exhausting?
Yeah.
Because talking with people, feeling the people, but yeah, interesting.
Okay. I have some tips and tricks for the ones who have been managers and have realized that it's not for them and don't want to continue a career in the management. But are in the interview process, application process, and don't want to sound unmotivated. So I have some few ideas based on my own experience, how they could still enjoy their career without having that title. So what they can do is, or what you can do is, you can look into different kind of job descriptions, also for manager roles, and see what it looks like in other companies. Because different companies have different responsibilities, teams, and budgets. So read the job description carefully to assess what duties hide actually behind the job title. Because a manager in one place can have manager duties, but in the other company, completely different tasks might be hiding behind the manager title. And maybe those are the ones that you actually see yourself doing. And other than that, seek a role that is in the senior level, but offers new skills that you can add to the ones that you already have. That way you will be able to extend your knowledge, have challenging duties without having the manager title if you don't want to have it. And you can also take the path that myself and Erzin too. You can become a consultant, you can become a freelancer, establish your own company, and offer the services in a manner with the expertise that you have in life. So this is also a great alternative. So it is not for everyone, management, and that's completely okay. So see for yourself how to make the best out of the skill sets that you have, and can be happy with it. So that's my thing.
Great
Nice
as
one.
always.
Thank you. All right, we talk about changing jobs, changing career
to management.
Steps. Yeah, let's talk about hiring new colleagues.
Hiring and good qualities.
And good qualities.
Perfect qualities everywhere, right? That's the dream.
Your memes are the best, Maya. Tell us, what do you mean by perfect qualities?
Well, this is a never-ending circle. Employers are looking for good qualities in their future employees and vice versa. And we are often talking about like what type of qualities should a good candidate have, what are the things that he must possess to be chosen for a position, but it also goes to the other way. So a company should also possess some good qualities for people to choose to apply there. So like we spoke about before, there are so many options out there. There are so many companies. Like we are in 2023. I believe I would actually, after this live, I would like to see a statistic like how many companies there are worldwide right now and how many were there like 30 or 40 years ago. I think the numbers will shock me.
Yeah, that would be an interesting statistic to see.
Yeah,
really.
Right?
Let's Google
actually,
it.
I could even make a post about it, come to thinking. But
next week.
But exactly. But so basically this was a quick short post to be mindful about that not only companies or not only candidates should be very about what qualities they can present to a company, but it really plays both ways. So a company should also be a place or be they should be able to compete with the other companies, so to say. For example, if you want to attract the best candidates out there, it's obvious that you need to offer something, maybe even not better than someone else, but you should attract the candidates that you want. So if there's someone who is really, really interested in work-life balance, you should really strive to like make some part of your everyday cultural life in your company about work-life balance. Like you should maybe follow up with the newest tendencies that are going on in the market. For example, like 2 or 3 years ago, remote work was not that like as it is not so out there as it is right now. So the company should always be wary about the trends that are going on. And this is the reason why every company should always strive to offer good qualities, not only for bettering themselves, but to attract the best candidates out there. So yeah, for example, for me, when I have looked at a possible place to work, when I was younger, really, I will be honest, the only thing that I was looking for is how much do they pay. The rest was I will shut my eyes and I will go with whatever they offer. But as I got older, as I went through many experiences and many employers, I really got to understand what is really important for me: to be happy, at least for a long term, because that's always been my goal. I've never been the person who wants to change their positions once every year or 2 years. I really ideally would like to find a place where I can work till I'm old and enjoy my work while I'm doing it. So, but to achieve that, I would have to have some of the things that I've experienced that are very, very important for me. For example, I've worked in places where you absolutely cannot use your phone for 8 hours straight. It's not that I'm this cool millennial who has to have their phone by them at all times, but I like to be available, or I like to be um, I don't know, sometimes there are things that happen. I need to call my mom, or something happens. I want to be able to use my phone. It's not that I'm sitting at my phone 8 hours a day, but this, for example, kind of thinking was a bit off to me. So I understood, like, no, I feel like in a cage for 8 hours. Okay, next. So that's how I look at my experiences. From each employer, I look at what kind of things, what kind of qualities have been very good there. Why have I stayed there as long as I have, and why did I quit at the end of the day? What was missing? Yeah, how it I would like to ask how it is with you guys. Have you, or what's the thing that you are always, what has been the thing that you have always focused on when choosing an employer to apply to?
I like how you said that. I think the older you get, the more stations you have, like professional stations in life, the more your understanding kind of grows about yourself and what's important for you. And then, like, going on to the next work, you are like, okay, for me it's important to, I don't know, have this often silicon to phone, just, I don't know, because of emergency or anything, you know. And that's how you kind of build for yourself this ideal job description with how I feel like working, what's important for myself, what kind of duties I would like to have. So that's interesting. I can suggest everyone to do that, actually. Like, after you leave a company, just reflect back and maybe write down something you liked and what you disliked. But for myself, I mean, when I moved to Germany, it was like almost 10 years ago. The most important thing was to actually have a job, to be very honest. And somehow recruitment found me, and here we are. And I'm very happy and thankful about it. Yeah, and then going onwards, it kind of grew. And I believe also now with Smartist, before we actually established ourselves, we knew that for us it's important to have this opportunity to be with our families around the world. I mean, today we sit in Turkey, you sit in Liepāja, in my hometown, you know, and we are always around and always there wherever we feel like at that moment. So that was kind of a criteria for us, and it's great to see how it works. So yeah, it comes with time. But yeah, the list with the things that I wouldn't like to have from an employer is also quite long, and I think it's also how we assess these days the clients that we work together with, you know, based on the values that we are having. So that's how I would describe it. How do you see Darcy?
Exactly.
I think the first thing you mentioned in the right way. The first thing is to have a job. But people always want more. Then you look like Maya said. The next thing is I want to earn money. Then it's all about the money. I think in the 20s ish, and after that, you always want more, and the next thing is like flexibility, freedom, and in this direction. So yeah, the same was with me. Yeah, was the first thing after my studies was to have a job. Then you earn a lot of money and want more money, and then it was like the 8 hour no phone thing. And yeah, after that it was more flexibility to a level like Lena said, to work from everywhere, to be with the family, to spend time with with our family. So yeah, I think it's a common thing.
And I think it's not much that people ask these days from employers, you know. It might sound like, oh, like the bar is going higher and higher, but I think it's just the way how the work life is ticking these days, you know. It goes hand in hand with that. And of course, earlier it was like the most important thing just to have a job, just like your grandma, right? For her, it's fine. I can go through hell, let's put it that way, right? If I don't like something, but I need to stay here. I have a family, I have mouths to feed, you know?
Yeah.
And things like that. And these days, people realize that time with their friends, with their family, health, hobbies, that it's all that they also want to collaborate into their life. And it's quite understandable. I like your point about companies staying competitive, like having the hand on the pulse, what's up in the market, also evaluating what actually our employees are currently demanding, asking when we do the employee talks, because we all are so different, you know, and it's very important here to pay attention to what's moving people, what's touching them, because that's something you can use as your competitive advantage then when hiring new people. So yeah,
definitely.
nice points, Maya.
So at the end, of course, there is the question of what are the top 3 qualities that employees are looking for in their new employer. But I would even like to change that to how do you hire the best candidates? It can be as easy as doing some things that don't even cost a thing. So, for example, good communication doesn't cost anything, means everything. So good work ethics, like good work environment, very important for many people. And growth possibilities, also something that's very important nowadays. So to any company out there, make sure you are attracting the best candidates with whatever things that you can do to make that happen. Because like I said, some things don't even cost a thing and they make worlds of a difference. Yeah, I mean, we do speak with a lot of candidates as well. We ask this question a lot, like what is important for you in your future employer? And this is a very important question just to be sure that we do make a, so to say, perfect match, because there are companies that offer some things that are very important for one person and is completely untotally relatedly important to someone else. So some companies, they say they need to have candidates that they work on site, and some people say no, I want 100% fully remote work. So obviously we are not going to be matching those two, but there are people who really want to work on site. They want to go outside of their homes every day. They want to see something else. They want to meet their colleagues. They want to change their environment every day. So they are loving these on-site positions. Just like there are people who really do prefer to have fully remote positions. So this is why it's very important to understand from each and every candidate and each and every person generally what are they looking for in a company, and just to see if these qualities that the companies are having and things that they are offering are really matching with the people that we are looking for.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yes. Well said. Well said. That's so true.
Yeah.
Maya can consult clients regarding these questions, how to structure benefits so that everyone is happy where they are.
Yeah. Happiness, very important.
Part. Happiness, yeah. It's interesting actually how the world has changed. Before it was like tangible things that people were looking for, like money and I don't know, a car and stuff like that. And today people want to be happy. I mean, some people might think like, yeah, that's so cliche, right?
Yeah.
But
Like good teamwork. Like
yeah,
obviously it should be implied,
yeah.
right? Like everyone wants to have a good teamwork, but there are still candidates who say, I have had the worst experience. Please, I want a place where I can have a good teamwork. Like,
Yeah. So interesting
still
to hear
happens.
what drives people, yeah, and what they dislike. Oh. All righty. Good. Then moving on to our last post. When it comes to hiring new colleagues. Yeah, this is a post of mine where I am talking about spotting a good candidate, because very often hiring managers, clients approach us with this question. I mean, hard skills is one thing for sure. We know what kind of technologies they should be familiar with for each in particular role. But yeah, how to spot a good candidate from other perspective, looking behind the CV and everything. So the post got 4.2 thousand impressions, 26 likes, and 19 comments. And the discussion started. It was so interesting to see. One of the points that I wrote is you can spot a good candidate by the way how they communicate. Like how responsive they are, how motivated they are. And one of the suggestions I was making was to do follow-ups. And it was interesting to see how people take on the information that you share, because one lady here, she was like, oh, I thought regarding following up, I thought it's not polite to do so. I mean, it can be a cultural thing as well, which I would totally understand, but it's interesting how everyone receives the message that you are sending, and it's good to see that maybe someone now thinks, oh, I'm going to follow up because I never did it, and would have a totally different twist to their whole application process. So that was nice. So myself and then another person here explained that nothing nothing unpolite to follow up, go for it. And it was cool to see from also recruiting colleagues from elsewhere in the world where they really encourage people. I agree. Follow up, show that you're interested in the job that they are offering in the company without a doubt. So yeah. And one guy was pulling out one of also my favorite quotes, and quotes that my clients are also sharing with me very often: hire for motivation and then train for the technical skills. So I think very spot on. But what would you say, like, how do you spot a good candidate, dear recruiter colleagues? What is a good candidate for you? If you receive a CV, how can you say, okay, this is a good one, or this is a less good one?
For me, it's definitely after the first time that we speak with each other. I can hear, sometimes you can hear the dedication in their voice, so to say. So there are many stages and many things that a candidate can do to up or higher their chances to be presented to a company or getting the job. But dedication and definitely follow-upping is something that is very, very, very important and can be a make it or break it thing for you. I have known until now, like this year, 2 people who have, just because they followed up, like, hey, how is the process going? I'm still interested, they got the job just because they asked, just because they did the follow-up, and nobody else did it. So that does speak volumes about how important this could be, and it never hurts you. Like if you do the follow-up quite politely and you're really genuinely just asking, like, how is the process going? Is there something else that I can do or provide? It's all great things. Like nobody will ever tell you anything negative about it, and the only bad thing that can be your message is not being replied to, which is the same as if you don't write at all. So You can't lose there. But dedication and responsiveness is also something that's very important. So, for example, if we do speak with the candidates, and for example, we do require their resumes, and if I have to wait like week or 2 weeks to get a resume instead of someone who's like ready to send me, okay, I got it. Sometimes you have things you need to update your resume, but I mean, truly, honestly, if you really want the job, 24 hours and you can get your resume done. That's quite being frank and honest. So responsiveness and dedication are the two things that really make a good candidate in my eyes.
I like it. Yeah, agree, really. Do you see it differently, Ersin? Or what would be your point?
Not really. I like good communication, open communication, and I don't mean that the candidate has always to pick up the phone, but you can talk and arrange time slots where he is reachable, so you can do it in the right way. The other thing is what I mean with open communication is to be honest and tell the truth. So if you have a better offer, tell that. And perhaps we can do something to increase our offers or something, or to help. Yeah, communication is the key, I think.
Good old saying, communication is key.
Absolutely. Also, it's like cliche, but not always working. But yeah, I think that the classic recruiter reply would be like, it's the one that suits the budget, has the right skill set, and is available immediately, right?
Yeah.
We all can agree these small 3 things. But yeah, a few tips from my end, apart from the ones that we discussed and maybe aligning with the ones that we discussed. In my opinion, here's how to spot a good candidate. They show a motivation in the company, in the process, and also in the way how they understand the role itself. They're motivated to dedicate themselves for it. Responsiveness, what we all talked about, they make themselves available, are quick in communication, respond to your questions with exact examples instead of generalizations. Responsiveness. Of course, interest as well. People follow up, and that's the way how they stand out from other candidates, because they want to see where they stand in the process and remind about themselves. Also, eagerness to learn and further develop their skill set, especially if they're going for a position that's maybe the next step in their career. And yeah, I think a combination of confidence on the paper in their CV, body language, they know what they want, they know how to sell it. If we speak about meeting for a face-to-face interview, I think this is how you can spot a good candidate, speaking from my experience.
Nice, great tips. Liana has the best tips.
It's the experience talking, you know. I think nothing else. You see so much on day-to-day basis, and some things are negative, some things are positive. You learn a lot from it, make your own conclusions. I think everyone in their role would be able to speak about their day-to-day work for hours. But yeah, I think with this one, we also conclude the 4 posts that we had for this week. I mean, 49 minutes, that's quite a lunch break, a few minutes left if you have the classic one. So make sure you grab something tasty for dessert before you get back to work. But thank you so much, guys, for joining. For being part of today's lunch break with 3 Smartists in one room. We meet again in 2 weeks, where we then discuss the social media posts of most likely this week and the week after. So tune in to hear, what brings us joy, what makes us, gets us down. And we'll continue the conversation. So sunny greetings to everyone out there.
Sending greetings and good health to everyone. Bye.